Welcome to Learning Anatomy with Dr. Bakare. In this lecture, we'll be looking at the differences between the endocervix and the exocervix. Before we dive into highlighting the differences between these two sub-regions of the cervix, let's dive into how these two regions are established. The cervix generally is a fibromuscular inferior narrow region of the uterus. Try to use this image by the side. This is where we have the cervix here carved out in green. It is the inferior narrow region of the uterus. We look at this upper region that is harrowed here. This is the fundus of the uterus. And inferior to the fundus here, we have the body. This is the body of the uterus here, harrowed in red. And if you go more inferiorly to the body of the uterus, we have the constricted region that is harrowed here in black, and this is referred to as the isthmus. Inferior to the isthmus is where we then have the cervix, and this is the cervix here carved out in green. If you go more inferiorly down here, we have the vaginal canal, and this is the vaginal canal here harrowed in yellow. So we say that the cervix is an intercept between the uterus up here and also the vaginal canal at this inferior region. We dive deep into the cervix. You see that there is a region of the cervix that protrudes into the vaginal canal. And this is the basis onto which the cervix is further subdivided into its two sub-regions. So let's try and create this demarcation up here, highlighted in dotted green. We have another demarcation here at the inferior limit here of the cervix. And if you look deep into how the cervix is configured, you see that a sub-region of the cervix is seen within the vaginal canal. We say that this is the basis onto which the cervix is further subdivided. So if you try to create a demarcation here at this region that is highlighted in dotted yellow, we see that this upper region that is harrowed in blue is the endocervix. This endocervix is also referred to as the luminal cervix because along the endocervix, you see that there is a creation of a lumen or a cavity, and this is referred to as the endocervical canal. So it is through this canal that we have a link up here with the cavity of the uterus and also inferiorly down here with the canal of the vagina. So you have a lumen or a cavity created within the endocervix. And this is what is harrowed here in white. Then if you go more inferiorly at the external region here that is harrowed at this point is where we have the ectocervix that can also be referred to as the exocervix. So this region, if you look deep, you see that this sub-region of the cervix is seen to be extending into the vaginal canal. We say that at this inferior region here, we have the vaginal canal. So you have the ecto or the exocervix extending into this space. So these are the two sub-regions of cervix. We have the endocervix and we have the ecto or the exocervix. If you look at this lower image, this sub-region of the cervix is the ecto or the exocervix. You can see that this is the sub-region that is protruding into the vaginal canal. While if you go deep to this sub-region, you have the endocervix that is embedded deep within the uterus. In our next slide, we'll be looking at the differences of these two sub-regions in a tabular form. So this is where we have the outline of the differences between the endocervix and the ectocervix. We've tried to describe how these two sub-regions are created in our previous slide. So for the first differences that we have between these two sub-regions, we say that the endocervix is located at the inner region, while the ecto or the exocervix is located at the outer region. If we try to use this image by the side here, this is where we have the cervix here carved out in green. And this region that is harrowed in black is the endocervix. This endocervix is the inner region of the cervix, and it is located at this upper end. And if you go more inferiorly at this lower region, which is located in the outer part of the cervix, is where we have the ecto or the exocervix. And this is what is harrowed at this point. Another difference that we have between these two sub-regions is the fact that the endocervix is seen to have a lumen or a cavity. And this is referred to as the endocervical canal. We also tried to illustrate or describe this in our previous slide. If you look at this image, this is where we have the endocervical canal. We see that this endocervical canal is limited to the region where we have the endocervix, while the ectocervix is not seen to have a lumen or a cavity, but is seen as a sub-region that links or extends into the vaginal canal. and this is what is harrowed here at this lower end. The differences that we have between these two sub-regions is the fact that the endocervix is not seen to extend into the vaginal canal. And this is understandable because we say that the endocervix is this upper region, so it is not seen to extend into the vaginal canal, while the ecto or the exocervix is seen as a sub-region of the cervix that extends into the vaginal canal. And this is also understandable because we said that this sub-region of the cervix is seen to extend into the vaginal canal, and this sub-region is the ecto or the exocervix. And at this inferior region here is where we have the vaginal canal. So you can see that the ecto or the exocervix, which is the inferior outer region of the cervix, is seen to extend into this space. Another difference is that we have between the endocervix and the ectocervix is the fact that the endocervix is lined by a simple columnar type of epithelium. If we try to look at this upper image here, this is the region where we say we have the endocervix at this upper end. And if you look at the mucosal lining of this region, you see that it is lined by a simple columnar type of epithelium. A simple columnar type of epithelium because it is seen to be continuous with the epithelium lining the body of the uterus. Remember, this upper region is where we have the body of the uterus, and the epithelium that is seen to line the interior wall is what is seen to also be continuous with the interior lining or mucosal lining of the endocervix. So this is why we also have it lined by a simple columnar type of epithelium. And this simple columnar type of epithelium are glandular in nature. So we have more of glandular simple columnar epithelium, and we have a few number of ciliated simple columnar epithelium. The ciliated simple columnar epithelium is to enhance the movement of structures across the lumen, while the glandular type of simple columnar epithelium assumes secretory function. And this is where they're able to produce or secrete mucus into the endocervical canal. So you see that the epithelium lining this region is the same as what is seen to be lining the internal wall of the uterus. But if you go more inferiorly in this outer region, you have the ectocervix or the exocervix, and this is lined by a different type of epithelium. And epithelium lining this region is a stratified squamous type of epithelium, which means the flat layer of the epithelium that is seen in multiple layers. So this epithelium lining the ecto or the exocervix is also continuous with the epithelium lining the vaginal canal, because the vaginal canal is also lined by this type of epithelium. So it's seen to be continuous with it. So you see that the different sub-regions of the cervix are lined by epithelium of the structures that are located close to them. So these are the differences in tabular form between the endocervix and also the ecto or the exocervix. And it's good we're able to put this together in a tabular form in case we're asked during examination. I hope you find this useful, and thanks for watching.